Today was a good day if you were looking for information regarding relative strength, but I'm never going to say a day where the Nasdaq is down 235 points or 1.2% with 8% above 50-day average volume is a good day. It wasn't a good day at all. But if you were looking for stocks showing relative strength or something to get into, I think there was plenty of information provided today and some opportunities which I'll get to in a minute. But you can see the NASDAQ now with the action today has sliced its 50 once again, which makes me more cautious. But if you look, every time recently that it, traded below its 50, it just, rallied right back, right here. Below its 50, rallies back, below its 50 and rallies back, and below its 50 recently rallied back. And here we are again. Is it going to rally back? Yeah, probably. Um, if history repeats of recent history, it probably is going to. So I wouldn't get too bearish, or too cautious here. I think there's some opportunities, but obviously it's a stock picker's market as usual, right? And you have to pick select the right stocks because if you're in the wrong ones, you can really get crushed. And I'm not going to go there because there's plenty of stocks I can show that are not doing well, but I'm going to stick to relative strength today. Hold on a second. Before I go over to the SPY, I just wanted to show that the Nasdaq, even though it's below its 50 now, it's 0.8% below the 50, 1.1% below the 10 and the 21. The 21 is still above the 50, so technically still in a power trend. 21 is this magenta line here, so it's flirted with that 50 and turning off the power trend. But I just have a feeling that, every time it comes down here, it's just, a dip that's bought. The dips are being bought. So don't want to be too cautious here. All right. Moving along to the SPY, the SPY. This one slices 50 today and then rallied back to close right at the 50. There you can see it. If I zoom in there, 0.0% above the 50 at 59755. Obviously, not a good day for the SPY either, down 2/3%. So when the indexes are down like this, these are headwinds for our stocks, especially on the Nasdaq, our growth stocks. And, I could just show you a couple since I'm doing this. I mean, Apple, this is going to cause headwinds on the indexes for sure. I mean, Apple has been a mess. NVIDIA looks horrible. Yeah, this could be the end for NVIDIA. Sure could. Don't think that it's invincible. Sure, it's the beacon for the artificial intelligence stocks and for the semiconductor plays, but the chart tells everything. You don't need to know much. It's sliced its 200 simple moving average for the first time in a couple of years. So if I own that, I wouldn't own it at this point. But if I did, I mean, you gotta there's better stocks out there to own, put it that way. Tesla looks terrible too. CEO is making a lot of enemies. I don't like this. Slice to 50. Yeah, you could do better. There's better stocks to own out there. Microsoft is a damn mess. This thing looks terrible, below the 200 for a long, long time. So there's not a lot of these tech stocks that are being bought. So there's a rotation out of these stocks and into other areas, and I'm going to get there in a minute. But I just wanted to show Meta is showing strength. It broke out of that base and it's just trending higher. So Meta looks fantastic. They've already reported earnings, so that's in the rear view mirror, so you don't have to worry about that. So 700 probably be resistance for Meta, but still that stock is looking pretty darn good. Google, they report the fourth. What's today? The third. So tomorrow. Tomorrow they report. So more will be revealed. I think they're going to be a lot like Meta, have a good report and just kind of trend higher above that 200. But we shall see. That's why they report the earnings. That's why we got to wait. Amazon looks fine as well. Both Amazon and Google above their moving averages, looking pretty darn good. The others that I showed you are not. So. Meta, Amazon and Google, good. NVIDIA, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, bad. All right. Pretty simple. I told you I was going to go to some relative strength stocks, and gold was up. Gold's been up a lot. Gold and oil this morning, and I think natural gas was up like 12% last time I looked. So anytime natural gas is up like that, you're going to get some strong oil and gas stocks. But gold, this is AEM, which broke out last week on the 30th and is following through, which is always nice. If you didn't catch that one, maybe Alamos Gold, AGI, is more your cup of tea here. No pun intended. Gold T, there you go. 21.45 is your buy point. It's trading right there. And the other one is IAGIM Gold. Yeah, I mean, set up in a base there. So I had a lot of stocks to choose from over the weekend. I made a video with like, I don't know, what is it, 25, and there was like 75 stocks. I didn't put any gold stocks on there because, the market is kind of weak. And I was watching Bloomberg last night and it was pretty negative with the president's tariffs. It's going to be part of our landscape now with President Trump, and part of the calculus that you kind of have to figure into his tweets and what he's saying about tariffs and everything. And so if you just don't watch the news or anything, you just look at the chart, you look for strength and forget all the noise, okay? Because he's going to say a lot of stuff and a lot of it's just um, not going to really impact your stock. So if you're looking for strong stocks, Cheniere Energy, I mean, this has got a big cup with handle pattern and just broke out, today up 6%. So that looks pretty good. Did I put it on the ready list? No. I knew oil and gas would be strong though, after the tariff situation. For now, it's temporary. I got to tell you, I don't like politics. I don't like politics getting involved with my investments because usually it goes bad. But a couple things about Trump. One is he's a real estate guy and he wants lower rates. So he's going to do whatever he can to get lower rates. We all want lower rates. I want lower rates. You should want lower rates. Heck, now to get a mortgage for a home, you're looking at 7.5%, where a couple of years ago it was like 3%. So that makes it kind of tough on the housing market. And also, another thing about Trump, not only did you want lower rates, he wants the stock market to go higher because he judges his success on, the stock market. He talks about it all the time. So that's why I say buy the dips. He's going to want it to go higher. EQT looks good, bouncing, AR bouncing. So these KNTK, oil and gas, transportation, mostly the gas here, with the natural gas up 13%. So these ones are looking very good. Antero Midstream, another natural gas stock right there at 16, right there at your buy point there. So there's nothing wrong with that. And if it falls out, if it goes down 4 or 5%, you can sell it. But to me, that's a very legitimate buy point. Yeah, it broke out. That's not a failed breakout. It's just a pullback back to the pivot. And like I say, 50% of stocks are going to do that. So yeah, the oil and gas, some of them are looking pretty good, especially the natural gas component. All right, I've got to go to the nuclear stocks because the nuclear stocks are going nuclear, starting with OKLO, which man, somebody was saying railroad tracks. If you go to the weekly, railroad tracks are high volume without, which it has high volume without further appreciation. So it's got these side by side. It didn't appreciate. Last week it was down, even though it had high volume. Let me get here the. It was down 0.5%, big deal, 21 cents. Then today, man, just rips higher, more than 10%. So that's why you don't want to read too much into the chart. This is a strong stock. This is one of the, those energy plays. It is not a broken chart. Like I can show you some of these broken charts. I think VST, yeah, had a hard time. It was flat today. GEV, these things are gonna take time to heal. TLN, another one of these, yeah. Well, it recaptured its 50, not bad. VRT, this one looks bad. And then the semiconductor one, A Lab, just cannot recover now either. So they're gonna report earnings on the 10th. Anyway, I digress because yeah, a lot of those stocks that got hit last week, they recovered some, but they need time. And then yeah, it got hit on that Monday, but still, it stayed above its 10, right? 0.5% above its 10 on that whack day, and still, came up on Friday to 43.43. Not bad. Today it was down, what, more than 1%, but still. Looks a lot better than some of those other broken charts. And I'm going to move on because I got to get to some stuff that I really want to get to because I'm really not into the oil and gas or the gold. They're kind of inflationary, and we don't want inflation right now. We don't need that at all. I want to get to some of the more efficient stocks today. I had people crying to me that, Twilio took out the low from Friday, the low from Thursday, the low from Wednesday. It took like 3 days of lows out, right? Yeah, okay, it did. It was pretty rough this morning. I mean, the Nasdaq was down 500 points. And if we take a look at the 5-minute chart, you can see at the open, you get the retail guy just getting out, panic selling. It never pays to panic sell. Twilio is a great company. It's a strong stock. Yeah, it opened weak today, as you can see. But if we take a look at the weekly chart, I'm going through different time frames here. You can see that, the low from the prior week is 135.44. Didn't even come close to that. 141. So it's $6 away still. That would be my adios muchachos on this one. Say if you bought it today, 145 or whatever, it was just flat on the day. It was definitely give you a chance to get lower, 141 to 147. So, split the difference, say you bought it at 144. I would say, you can hold it to, if it doesn't undercut the 135.44, the low from last week. Yeah. So it did take out a couple days lows today. To me, it's kind of an opportunity. I think it just backed up to its 5 EMA. I have it on the 10. I'm not going to change it right now. Up and after hours. And I'll get to that in a minute. But to me, Twilio was a buy if you don't own it. Maybe, you wait for a day like today when it came down to 141, or maybe tomorrow to pull back to the 10, which is at 137. Tomorrow it's going to probably be 138, 139. So, yeah, buy it on pullbacks. To me, it looks super strong. Another one, I showed you these on the, if you looked at my weekend video that I put in the education center, these, I picked out 10 or 12 stocks that gapped higher recently. And those are the ones showing strength, and they're not giving up their gains here. This is Atlassian. Yeah, it made a low below the low on Friday. It went down to 296. So to me, that would be kind of like you don't want to go on below 296. Right now, it's 15 points above that level. So that would be, my line in the sand there for team. So you got price, you got adios exit prices for team and Twilio. And this one, it gapped down at the open today. What did I say? 296. But then buyers came in and it looked fine, flat for the rest of the session. On a day when the Nasdaq's weak like this and team's up 1.5%, that's telling you, pretty much all you need to know right there. That is relative strength, folks. And that's what I am looking for, relative strength. And it doesn't mean the stock has to go up. A stock could be down and show relative strength. Why? Well, CrowdStrike got downgraded this morning with the raised price target, which you always got to love. But all it really did is come back to its 10 EMA. Any stock that, comes down to its 10 EMA, finds support and bounces. I mean, the low today was 384 and it closed at 397. So $13 off the low. Let's see what it looks like on a 5-minute chart. Yeah, there you go. Bunch of panic sellers in the first half hour. And this is why I say, let these things settle on a day like today. Give it, 30, 60, 90 minutes. Let it shake out here. So you had a dip and you had another dip in CrowdStrike into the close, 50 cents loss on a day where it was downgraded. The Nasdaq's down, 250 points or whatever it was. 1.25%, did I say? Anyway, that's showing relative strength, even though it wasn't up a bunch. And it is up after hours. And like I said, I'm going to get to that in a minute, but I'm a little excited today because I like it when we have, even though it was down today, it was, it was volatile and there was some buying, and it just gave us a lot of information to go on for the rest of this week, especially with these software names that I'm showing you here. App 11, yeah, it was down today, 1.1%, a little better than the Nasdaq, but it pulled back to moving average and popped there because the low on this session, I was watching this one today, down to 349, ended up 365. So that's 16 points off the low. So that is showing strength. And there you go again, the panic sellers in the morning. Um, You never make money panic selling. Anyway, this thing is setting up at a nice base here. I'm loving this. The only problem is, you have to know your earnings date for your stock here. This is February 12th, which is next Tuesday. App 11 will report. And, it could be, something good. And this thing could blast higher up to 500. That would not surprise me. And it could fall out, down to its 200 simple moving average, below 200. You don't know. I kind of think that they're going to have a strong quarter, but we just got to wait for the data. All right, some other ones. I have a lot of software names that I like that are showing strength. This is CLBT. I had it on the leading stocks. Took it off when it sliced the 50, and I never put it back on, but this thing is just doing nothing wrong. That was the first pullback to the 50 since the breakout, from the base, and it's just doing nothing wrong, surfing its moving average. This is a real quiet mover. Nobody talks about Cellbrite. Just quietly making new highs. You can see today it pulled back to its 21. Let's take a look at the 5 minute. Once again, these early morning sellers, man, then you sell, in the first half hour, then you regret it. You look at the close of the session, you're going, geez, it's it's $4 higher than when I sold it. Why did I do that? I'm a dummy. So the low is what, 23.10, and it closed at 24.67. So yeah, nice nearly 3% move there for Cellbrite. So nice move there. And then a couple others that I put on my the weekend video was IBM. Thursday broke out of this base. Friday had this nice quiet inside day. And what did it do today? Up 2%. When the Nasdaq is down, whatever I said it was, that is showing relative strength. So to me, IBM, I don't know what it's going to do here. Form a 3 weeks tide, a flat base pattern, a shelf. I don't know, but this is telling me that they're not selling it up here, right? And then same with Netflix, gapped higher on this day, the 22nd, 10% call it. And now this is telling us something here, right? With the Nasdaq going a little wonky, this thing's going sideways. So this is like stealth accumulation here. Investors are not selling Netflix at all. So this might form a shelf pattern or a 3 weeks tight or whatever it wants to do. It's 3 weeks tight now. But that could be an add-on buy point there for Netflix. There you see the flat base, the breakout that 1 week up 14% in a week. And now last week flat, today, yeah, flat. So to me, that stock is under accumulation and definitely one to watch. It's got to go on my ready list here. I got to write that down because I have a bad habit of not writing them down. Netflix, write it down, you dummy. All right. I think I'm going to that's it for the tech stocks. I'm going to go in another, I'm going to throw a curveball here, go to the drugs. Because the drugs, they're not, the drugs, there's tariffs on drugs overseas that are imported in the United States, but the ones that are manufactured here don't have that problem. So Gilead, American company, made a new high today. This one's set up in a base at 98.90. Yeah, 100 will probably be resistance, but that's probably going to go on the ready list with Netflix for tomorrow. That thing looks pretty good with the blue dot. Yeah, I kind of like that one. Oops, I'm going to Vertex, which had a FDA approval last week. Yeah, it had a nice move, but not something that I thought it would have. I know this thing has a massive pipeline, and one drug is not going to make or break the company, but it rallied through the 200. I would expect bigger things here, but earnings are coming up on the 10th. So Vertex with a nice day. CPRX, another one, bounced off the 50, pulled back here quite a bit this morning. There you go. The panic seller selling here at 21.69, 21.72, closes at 22.62. So you lost a buck by selling, which is, quite a few percent there, like 5%. Um, yeah, a dollar on a $20 stock is 5%. Okay. Anyway, move on. All right. TGTX is another one in the drug stocks that I like. Why? Well, it broke above its downtrend line last week or the week before. I'm not sure when. Broke above its downtrend line right there. Boom. Okay. And then pull back to its 50. I expected a bounce today. It didn't bounce today. I mean, it tried to a little bit here in the morning and then kind of flattened out, but I'm expecting a real bounce here. There's a lot of shorts in this company, and I don't know when they're going to report earnings. This says March 4th. But yeah, I would expect to bounce off the 50 now. It's been down, what, 4 days in a row? Yeah, I would expect support at the 50 and a bounce off TGTX. All right, I think that's it, except for GHRS. This had a phase 2 trial approval and up 69, 70%. So this is what attracts people to the biotech sector. It's like, wow, I wouldn't mind having a 70% move in a day. But a lot of them are rejected and have failed trials, and they fall out 90% too. So it's the outhouse or the penthouse with these biotechs. And today, GH Research was in the penthouse. So congrats to the longs there. I'm going to move on because the retail group is it's struggling right now, but these stocks are not. So I just wanted to point these out. The retail restaurant Cheesecake Factory making a new high today. The Chili's Maggiano Group, Brinker, I believe it was upgraded this morning, upgraded last week. Since the earnings report and that gap higher, it's been upgraded several times, up to 190 after hours. So um, Cheesecake Factory, Maggiano's Chili's. I guess I'll go to Cava is doing well also. Yeah, this one looks nice. In this little base here, Bros, Dutch Bros, I believe that one making new highs today, bouncing off the moving average. That one looks good. DRI, this is the Olive Garden, Darden Restaurants. That looks like kind of an ascending base here. Yeah, just making new highs today, getting right at that 200, maybe a little Matambo treatment there at the 200 level. Yeah, 199.95. So got to be careful there. Looks like resistance. But anyway, those retail restaurant names are looking very strong. Just trying to show, relative strength here in this week tape. This is DoorDash. This is one of my larger holdings here, and pretty easy hold here. Dash. I think I had it on the ready list last week. I believe I took it off this week. Yeah, I think I put GoDaddy on and left this one off. But anyway, up more than 1%, while the Nasdaq was down more than 1%. So we'll take that kind of outperformance. Here you can see a little shake and bake in the morning and just rallied all day long. A little, profit taking into the close, but Dash looks very good. People are calling up and bring me my food to me. I don't want to go get it. Costco, another one that's just, yeah, this one. I think Costco, Netflix, Gilead, some of these ones have to go on my ready list. That looks good with the RS line heading due north, up 2.65%. Obviously, I don't think tariffs are a problem here for Costco wholesale. Anyway, they do bother a lot of stocks, though. This is a Sprouts, a farmer's market. This is a Phoenix-based company. They 407 stores, 23 states. I think we have some here in town. They cater to like the more healthier, I guess, organic. When you can't afford Whole Foods, you go to Sprouts Farmers Market if you want the healthy stuff, or you just go to your local farmers market and buy your fruits and vegetables. But Sprouts looks good here. Nice setup, cup shape pattern. I'm expecting a little bit of a handle, but some stocks don't make handles and they just keep going. This one just might want to grind higher along its tenure. It's not a real, fast moving stock, high beta stock, but you can see here, it just serves its moving average. It did this all last summer, all fall, it had a little fallout here. Post-election, just formed a base. And now it looks good once again here since 2025. It's been hit the ground running. There was what, 127 ended the year, 126, 127 at ended the year. Now it's 159. So having a good year, Sprouts Farmers Market. So that's it for the food. Got to go to the medical, some strength in the medical. Da Vinci company, Intuitive Surgical looks pretty darn good to me. GRAL. I did post this one on my gapper list. This one gapped higher. Now it's pulling back, and every time it's pulled back, it's found support and bounce. So definitely watch that one. And then HIMSS, I mentioned, this is not going to have the tariff problems like you're going to have with Novo Nordisk, these guys and GlaxoSmithKline. Yeah, these things are in a lot of trouble because, they're going to have to pay more. Sanofi also, another one, an ADR. Yeah, kind of a week today. And then so you'd think, wow, Lilly makes her stuff here in the US. US companies still struggling though. Flat today. So HIMSS looks good. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. At mcstockcharts.com, we never give up, except for in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I have one more thing, and that's a Palantir after hours trading above 100 now, bouncing around. They reported tonight. They beat earnings by 3 cents and revenues by a bunch. Yeah, they really crushed revenues. So this is really good for artificial intelligence stocks, software names tomorrow. I know it's a 191 billion market cap and it's up 20%. So you're looking at attacking on about 40 billion to that market cap tomorrow. So it's going to be about 230 billion. So it's going to be up there with the ServiceNows, which is what 210 billion. So the ServiceNow sold off after earnings last week. But you see these software names up after hours. I had posted already like AppLovin is up and well, I mean stocks like Elastic is going to probably benefit, yeah. And even the cybersecurity names like CrowdStrike. And Fortnite got downgraded today too and held up flat on this session. So that's a tell for me. When you get downgraded and you pull back to moving average, find support bounce, close near the high of the daily range there, 85%. That's telling me that that stock doesn't want to go down. And sometimes they get downgraded because a company wants to buy their shares cheaper. So anyway. Kyndryl Holdings, they reported down 3.45% after hours. I don't think there's a lot of volume there. I did not read that report. Clorox is, nothing burger. NXPI is a semiconductor, a smaller semiconductor stock that reported after earnings. It's up a couple percent. We will take that. BRBR is a retail play. Eh, down flat. I did not see that report. I'll have more in the morning on these names. Fabrinet, this is in the electrical contractor manufacturing stock with Celestica. Yeah, it's going to move these names as Sanmina and Jabil and Flex. All these companies are in the same group as FN. So we'll see if it can move this group tomorrow. It's less than a 10 billion market cap, but nice report there. I did see the headlines on that one, so that'll help. And then Rambus. I didn't hear anything from Rambus. Usually that one's a big mover on earnings, so I'll have more in the morning. Yeah, February 3rd, they should have reported. So anyway, tomorrow morning before the market opens, you got PayPal reporting, you got Spotify, which has been on a tear. Even though it's up near highs, I think Spotify is going to report a good quarter and trade higher. It might pull back and then trade higher. Pfizer reports in the morning, blech. Regeneron reports in the morning, blech. Man, those are ugly charts. It's been really tough for the drug stocks. Merck, yeah, man, look at these things. They've been killed. Pepsi reports in the morning. Estee Lauder, which I doubt they do much, but it could be a key into Elf. Elf has been slaughtered. The CEO even said that if there's tariffs in China, they're going to pass on the cost to the consumer. So this one's down below 100 now. Man, Elf. How the mighty have fallen. And then Race or Ferrari reports in the morning, and they're an Italian company, so they report kind of early. I'll have all this information tomorrow morning. Check for us at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Thank you for watching. Have a great evening.